Well, good morning to everyone. Really appreciate you all taking time out of your day to spend with the Panthers. We really appreciate you all's resourcefulness covering us as an organization. We definitely welcome you all to come to as many practices as possible, promote our program as much as possible, and also, promote that Georgia State is here. Tickets are on sale for our fans, alumni, and friends of our program. So please buy your game day tickets or season tickets. We want to really emphasize supporting our student athletes in a major way, and we need Atlanta support in that. I thought today was a good first start. Kids are always anxious on the first day, so you could kind of see some of the anxiety. And when you have anxiety from a mental standpoint, it reflects from a physical standpoint. We are really pushing nutrition because of the heat. We've been doing that all summer. Our kids have really bought into eating the correct meals, putting the right stuff in their body, hydrating, and when you get to camp, all those things are vital to have another good practice the next day. So recovery, how do we get 8 hours of sleep at night, getting off my phone, relaxing my mind, and not having anxiety about the next practice. And with that being said, I will open up for questions.
I forget which summer it was. They changed the rules recently. There's less restrictions on what can and can't happen with football during the summer. Obviously, there's probably always rust in day one, but have you noticed over those years less of that, or is there more connectedness heading into the start of fall camp nowadays?
Yeah, we definitely are ahead of schedule from a playbook standpoint. We kind of dialed back today to kind of go through our installs. So everything we did today was review. But when you got a lot of young players, freshmen, first time practicing in college, they get a little bit of anxiety and don't necessarily line up correctly. Don't have cognitive. They're not cognizant of the shot clock. Some of the quarterbacks weren't today. So those are small things that we can clean up. But overall, I thought the energy was good. I thought our kids paid attention to detail. I think they showed good effort. We got to work on our transitions from one group to the next group, and just continue to get 1% better every single day.
And with a new offensive coordinator, but who was here last year, Hugh Jackson, how much of it is a total reinstall of an offense, or how much of it is just tinkering on what you already had set?
It's a little bit mixed there. Coach Jackson has a brilliant offensive mind. He's been calling plays, and he's been a head coach on all levels. I trust him, very experienced. The kids have really bought into his coaching style. He demands a lot out of the coaches. I lean on him as well, him being a veteran coach, and I really appreciate the things he's done for our organization and what he'll do moving forward.
Coach talks about the personnel you assembled for your offensive line and the difference that may make for Christian.
Yeah, we still got to get some cohesiveness on the offensive line. We still got some guys that aren't full go right now. On the O-line, Darrell Bailey, A.J. Johnson come to mind. And then at the tight end position, Camden and Wesley, our other tight end from ULM, they're not full go right now. Some of y'all probably saw Branson Robinson wasn't full go. We kind of limiting him right now to allow him to fully recover before we get him in the mix. So we're being very smart about the guys that are on a pitch count, and we have several guys on the offensive line, like I mentioned. But I like the direction Coach Ross has and the cohesiveness they're building on the offensive line. Of course, I feel like we're a lot bigger on the offensive line, but now it's just making sure that we're getting on the same page in the run game, pass game, and that's what camp is for us to dive deeper and connect on a higher level. And a couple of our camp goals was I challenged our guys to meet with 6 different players or coaches or anybody on the training staff, equipment staff, just so we can really dive deeper in our connection piece with our entire organization. And they've been doing that at several. They will have the opportunity at the meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner, transitions. When they're in the cold tub right now, they can get an opportunity to really get to know who their teammate truly is. And 3 questions that I challenge them with are something that no one knows about you, what's something that's really difficult or some difficult moments that you've had in your life, and what is your why. We want to go above the surface level of just high school name, birth date. So just getting those 3 questions answered has created a lot of dialogue with our team, and I think the more dialogue we get, the more connection we have, the better off we're going to be.
The players you mentioned, you're holding back, all of them basically have a couple years at least college experience. So is it an added bonus that if you're holding them back now, that's giving some other younger guys maybe reps during this camp?
Yeah, it does give guys other reps, but at the same token, we can't sustain if we keep that because someone's carrying the load for someone else. So as soon as they're cleared, we're going to get them in the mix. That's the thing about camp. It is a next man up mentality. We do get a chance to develop some of the freshmen that we brought in from a high school standpoint, and some of the junior college transfer portal guys. So I was just very pleased with the overall work we got accomplished today. Definitely wasn't the cleanest day, but I felt like our enthusiasm and effort and fighting through the elements was done well.
Like you've added some depth to your receiving room. Can you talk about that a little bit? Personally.
Yeah, we got several guys that are capable playmakers. Leo Blackburn, who's a Westlake, Atlanta native, adds a lot of size, physicality on the perimeter, deep ball, red zone threat. Javon Robinson, who was here in the spring as well, shifty, good returner, has elite speed, can make plays down the field in the screen game, reverses, and things of that sort. Jalen Marshall adds depth. He's still kind of learning. He's kind of dealing with an injury right now as well, but he pushed through for the most part today. Then the freshmen I'm really excited about, DJ Avery, Kyle Washington, Ahmed Saré, Deontay Fulton, DJ Riles, a returning receiver. All those guys have really, really done a tremendous job this offseason of grasping the playbook, taking the smaller details of things, and a lot of that came from Ted Hurst's leadership, along with Coach Craig and Coach Marshall, getting the kids to buy in to what we got to do to be successful in the passing game.
Great, Coach. Sports Inquirer. We're speaking with Christian today. So it looks like he's the incumbent starting quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
But even from last year, we saw you'll change your quarterback. You'll rotate some guys in there. What about the quarterback room, and what does Christian have to do to really distinguish himself to keep this starting position as you prepare for Ole Miss?
Biggest thing is he can't think he has to win the game or make all the plays. It's all about decision making. We got to make sure that we're playing clean football on the offensive side of the football. And as coaches, we got to help with that. So we got to make sure that we don't have too much in and we're asking too much of our quarterbacks. We got to make sure once we get to game planning, we'll limit what those quarterbacks will have to do. Cam Brown and P.J. Hatter, and along with T.J. Stanley, all 3 of those guys have athleticism, can provide some things from a short yardage goal line standpoint because they are dual threat type guys, and PJ's about 195 pounds, and then TJ Stanley's like 215, and Cam Brown's 225. So they have some size. They can break tackles. So those will be things that we'll explore, and once we get further in camp. But right now we're just installing. We're not game planning for anyone. We're just working on ourselves right now. And once we get closer to Ole Miss, we'll start peeling back and really diving in what we want to do from a game plan standpoint.
Going back to the first day of practice theme, can you remember what it was like your first practice at Auburn and those emotions and what that day was like, and those emotions still, important today when you got a whole bunch of new kids doing the same thing?
Absolutely, especially as a freshman. Like I said, the anxiety was there for me when I practiced my first time at Auburn. It was a lot harder. We had 3-a-days on the first day. Hydration and all those things weren't necessarily preached and required. The recovery piece, it was there, but not emphasized the way it is now. And the game has changed for the better from that standpoint, with the concussions and CTE and all the studies of the brain and And we practice on turf every day too, so that's not always good on your body either. So we have to be smart about how we practice and the load we're putting on guys. That's why we use the technology of our GPS system, and we look at player loads, their yardage, and if we see spikes in a negative manner, we know we got to scale some of those kids back, and that'll give an opportunity for a younger kid to develop. And sometimes we're going to adjust our schedule as well. And right now I got every practice plan or practice phase already assembled, but that could change based on our health and how guys are feeling and what's really, really best for us. But Auburn days were wonderful. Pat Dye was a hard-nosed kind of guy, so y'all are kind of my age, so y'all played ball and y'all understand it wasn't as easy. I don't even remember if we had an acclimation period, to be honest with you. I don't know if we were out there and passed the first day, but it was I know we practiced at 6, I know we practiced at 12, I know we practiced at 6 in the evening, so it was rough. That 12 o'clock practice was the easiest, but it was pads, basically shells, pads, and got up and did it again. So we can't do that in today's game, which is good. Like I said, it's to benefit the long-term health of these student athletes to make sure they have a prosperous life after football.
A couple questions, Coach. First one, just so to be clear, is Christian, is he named the starter?
Yeah, he's the starter right now. Yeah, I said that at Sunbelt Media Days. You must have missed it.
And I guess
you missed it.
The other question is just the feeling as you've now seen your guys out on the field, right? You've gone through the recruiting, you're getting guys coming in, transfer portal, all that good stuff. But once you kind of see them running around, is there anything that's kind of stood out to you so far as you've seen your guys out on the field running around and I guess moving?
Yeah, they're just trying to do exactly what the coaches are asking, and then when they don't, we expect our players to confront and demand the standard, and if the players don't do it, we got to do it as coaches until we can get that buy-in and the leadership from our players to do so. To me, we started our season back last year, and the 45 players that we have returning are really doing a good job of setting that example, showing the guys that we've added to the program how we do things, and the guys that we have added, they've kind of been a sponge in that regard, and now it's just becoming closer as a unit, as a family, and then just get through each and every day without having a bad or terrible practice. We can't afford to have a bad practice, and that was a challenge that we issued last night. Just make sure we're getting 1% better. Make sure when we're in a meeting, make sure we're paying attention, sitting up, taking notes, being a student of the game. And when we're on the football field, how do we develop the habits that are going to carry over when it's time to play the game?
Hey, Coach. So I know you're in year 2 now, so obviously there's a little bit of continuity, but what have you noticed been the biggest differences so far with day 1 of 2024 as opposed to day 1 of 2025?
I feel like I know the kids a lot better because the 34 high school kids that we added, we recruited those guys for a year. We know their families. We kind of know how they tick, what motivates them. And then even the portal kids that we brought in, there's some familiarity there as well because we recruited several of those guys when we were at previous stops. And knowing that, knowing what they're about, knowing their families also adds that continuity piece of we don't feel like we're strangers. And, of course, we did add some guys that we had no clue about, and they've been a welcome surprise from a play standpoint, picking up the playbook, really taking it serious. And that's what we want to do. We want to bring in competition at every single position, which I feel like we've done. And when you have competition at every single position, it really pushes kind of the depth chart, so to speak. We really don't have a true depth chart right now. We're just kind of repping guys, and they're getting reps on both ends of the field. And it'll be a time and place to kind of set that, and that'll be distinguished by how the guys play, how they pick up on the mental game, and the best players that have the least number of mistakes will be the ones that play. We got to make sure we play guys that we trust, and you earn your trust in camp. You define your roles on whatever it's going to be, special teams, special plays during camp.
Awesome. Thank you. One question. What are going to be some of the biggest goals for fall camp this year for you? Obviously, as you said, the depth chart building and whatnot, but just kind of what do you want to see out of the team?
The thing for camp is no one's bigger than the team. So we don't want any I's, no me's. It's all about us and we. That's the theme for the next 23 days for us. And then we had small details under that where we want to be the most physical and mentally tough team. Today was a mentally tough day because we weren't in pads, but we have to make sure we develop the physicality and an identity of being a team that we're going to out-hit and out-hustle our opponents, and that all carries and all starts in practice. How we approach practice, we can't approach practice like it's another day. It has to be game-like mentality because if you don't practice that way, it won't carry over into the game. Then also the connection piece, like I talked about, just challenging our guys to dive deep and meet 6 different guys, 6 different people in our organization, and our coaches have to do it as well. So it's not just the players. It's our equipment staff. It's our medical team. It's our dining hall. So we want to get the whole organization under one umbrella when it comes to us connecting and knowing one another, loving each other, and we're going to win and lose together.
I want to ask if there's a depth chart here, but can you talk through the kicking and punting situations, guys you brought in there, punter, and guys coming back to kicker?
Yeah, we brought in a long snapper starting there, Spencer Radnati, and we brought in Joe Laterza from TCU. They'll be battling at that position. Reed Chanley at punter along with Bo. He from Athens Academy. I don't know all these guys' last names, but call him Bo. I've been seeing him forever too. So they'll kind of compete at that position, and then Liam Rickman and Braden McAllister will kind of compete for that field goal position or field goal kicking competition. I feel like Braden has really done a good job of developing the shorter kicks. Definitely, if anything, 35 or longer, he'll be in the game. He just has a stronger leg, and he showed that last year by making that 52-yarder against Texas State. So, like I say, competition at every single position. We're going to play our best players on special teams. I told them last night it'll be a travesty if we didn't teach a Ted Hurst, Demaine Wilson, anybody that started not how to play on special teams, because all of them have aspirations of playing on the next level in the NFL. And for the majority of most rosters, if you're not the guy or you're not the starter or the next backup, you're going to play on special teams. So they understand that, and they've really locked in our special teams meetings and really wanting to do that. So we're going to play our best players, most dependable players on our special forces. And like I said, we got a lot more depth, and we got some freshmen that's going to have to get some of those special team reps of guys that we lost, because we lost probably 630 snaps, I think, from veteran guys from last year that I think some of the talented freshmen have the ability to do it from a physical standpoint. Now it's just learning the techniques, words, and the mental part of the special teams units.
Kind of along those lines, you mentioned 34 freshmen you brought in. Not all of them get to play, and with the new world of the portal, do you have to manage freshmen coming in differently than maybe you used to, or how are you approaching it? Because you want to keep as many of them for the long term, so you want to develop, but there's the temptation of the portal every year now.
Yeah, I can't control that. I'm not thinking about the portal. I'm not thinking about if he's a freshman, a senior, a grad. I mean, the best players are going to play. The most dependable players are going to play. So if you're good enough and if you're old enough or young, the age doesn't matter. You know what to do and how to play, and you execute at a high level, then you'll earn the right to play on the football field. I mean, that's the reason we practice in 2 spots, to get more reps, develop our roster. Guys can make mistakes, but they get a chance to learn all 3 phases because of how we practice.
Are there any further questions for Coach McGee?